Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is Hello Dave and we're gonna start out in Star Citizen. Update 3.19 is now on the PTU and it's already in wave 3, meaning that everybody now has access to go in and play with it. And they're gonna go and try all the different new things that have added into the game. There's also been a lot of performance and stability optimizations in this patch. So it seems like CIG has finally managed to iron out some of those issues that we've saw with 3.18. With the caveat, though, that all the issues that we did see in 3.18, we did not see in 3.19. Those issues were only really visible when the update went into the live servers. So we will see. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, it's going to be more stable when that arrives. Amongst the changes, of course, is the new salvage missions, which I've been playing around with, and they're quite fun. I think they're going to be working very well as group play. It's definitely something we're going to be testing out in the community. There's so many more like good group play missions now and activities that I really want to try to begin to get some group activities going on over this on the Discord server where we don't necessarily live stream it or don't necessarily make a video out of it. Just have a good evening, go around, play around in Star Citizen and do some things together. It should be quite fun. New player tutorial has been added into the game so that when you log into the game for the first time, you are prompted so you can go and play the tutorial. I did do a playthrough of it and it's okay. There is some points that's missing. Coming from a guy who's made game tutorials for the last 7 or 8 years, I spotted a few points where I think they could improve on the tutorial, where there are things that I would know that a new player would have a hard time figuring out and getting stuck on. I have a video coming out where I go over the tutorial and I talk about some of these points where they like, oh, you could improve there, this is good, stuff like that. But I think one of the biggest changes in this update is the massive mining rework. Like, it's not just changed, this is a complete rework. I spent 2 evenings where I stayed up to like 3 or 4 a.m. just like typing in numbers into spreadsheets, making calculations, min-maxing, theory crafting, then testing in game, then theory crafting, then testing in game, then theory crafting, going through that cycle. So I have a deep understanding of what the new mining landscape looks like when this thing hits the live servers. It is complicated. It's really, really complicated. And there is no clear-cut answer. In the past, it was a lot easier because we had a few stats that we could go and min-max. And we still have some stats, but you don't necessarily want to min-max them because there are different situations where you want... I don't want to go into detail with it now. It's really complicated. I love it. I love a complicated game mechanic because then I can make a guide and it's going to be awesome. And I can explain to you guys exactly what you need to do so you don't have to sit and spend a week testing things. You might sit and think, when is all this lovely stuff coming over the live servers? Nothing has really been announced, but we can kind of guess it because all the Invictus launch week stuff is in the patch when you play on the PTU. Like all the trains and the science and all that stuff is there. You can go to the convention center while there's nothing there. It's closed. There's no ships. Obviously, the launch week is not running, but all the stuff is in there, indicating that this patch is going to come out as part of the Invictus launch week. And that moves me on to the next topic, and that is the Invictus launch week, which has been announced. This is also sometimes referred to as Fleet Week. This has been announced to go starting from May 19th until May 30th. I haven't actually checked whether... I don't necessarily think there's going to be a free flight. I haven't checked. I should probably have done that. Okay, maybe there's a free flight. I don't know if there is, but at least 19th to the 30th, that's when the Invictus launch week is. And if you're not familiar with these like yearly events, the Invictus launch week is like the once a year where we celebrate the Navy, the in-game Navy, and there's like a recruitment event for them. So there's a lot of military ships on display you can go and play around with, and there's some tours you can take of some of the like bigger, massive ships you can go and like. A bit like if you have these like recruitment days for the military where they have like big ships and you could go and you can, as a civilian, come on board and take a tour and walk around and see the interiors. They've done that for some of the big military ships that's otherwise not playable in the game as well. There's a lot of cool stuff. It's a fun week. This year, though, there's something very, very interesting. Because when you look at the schedule for it, they have like each day, they have 2 days, there's like different ship manufacturers have their combat lineup on display, right? And this year, there is a manufacturer called Mirai, I think. which, to my knowledge, we've never seen before. Their logo and the font they use is very, like, the font is the same as MISC, and the logo, the shape of the logo is the same as the MISC logo, but looks different. It's like red with some Chinese symbols on it. So my guess, and everybody else's guess, seems to be that they're some kind of subsidiary of MISC. Given that they are on launch week, there might be like a military wing inside MISC that's going to be producing some military ships, indicating we might see some new combat ships being on display here doing the fleet week. So that should be very fun. I'll do my best to get a live stream going so we can take a first look at these new ships and take them out for a spin and see what they can do. Okay, let's move over to some Elite Dangerous news. D2A-store.com. Okay, Elite Dangerous. Tomorrow we have update 15 launching into the live servers. So the servers will be down for a majority of the day tomorrow, and then will be up again in the afternoon. Already did a video on Friday where we go over some of the information that we have about the update and what we know is going to be added to it, including the new hunter class of Thargoids. There's going to be small, fast, nimble Thargoids that are designed to go hunt down players, prevent them from running away by rebooting their frameshift drives all the time and attack. It's basically going to be like, yes, the name suggests, a hunter class that's expected to go out and like seek and destroy, find commanders, lock them down, prevent them from running, and then killing them. We'll see how they work when they get in game, and we're also getting these new settlement Thargoids that's floating around the settlements and shooting you with lasers and looking for you when you're doing missions. There'll be a new mission, or a rework of an existing mission type. The power on mission, where you're giving a power regulator and you have to go to a settlement to power it on. There will now be some Thargoids floating around there that you can shoot on foot. So this is the first, or the closest we've seen at least, to on-foot Thargoid combat. But it's just with flying skimmers, and we're not actually seeing on-foot Thargoids, as a lot of people have been wishing for. But the most interesting thing about this update is that we are finally going to be able to access the Maelstrom. We're going to get access to a Thargoid pulse neutralizer that's going to be able to shut down the massive pulse we get from the Maelstrom that pushes away every time we try to go close. That's going to be available with the patch tomorrow as well, and we can unlock it for, we don't know the exact bill of materials, but you can unlock it for materials that you can collect inside the Thargoid Maelstrom, meaning that the outskirts, you don't have to go like inside to the center of it, but you can, around the outskirts, you can get all these like corrosive mechanism on caustic shards and caustic crystals, and there's the tissue samples, and you might also need some of those relics, the Thargoid infused Guardian relics. I don't know, but like I've collected a number of all these different things and have them lying around, so they're ready, so I can unlock it right away when it becomes available. My expectations is that it's likely going to be mainly something visual. I don't think we can expect to see a ton of gameplay with it. I think we're going to be able to go in and we're going to see something in there. How much there's going to be to interact with, I don't know. I hope Frontier has a big surprise for us in there. But I have a feeling it's mainly going to be a visual thing. But we'll see tomorrow. I'll be live streaming it, of course, and more about that later. The last thing I want to talk about with Elite is the general community response to this update, as it seems to be like a thing at the moment that it's cool to hate Elite. And there's been a lot of negativity around this patch as well, mainly because I think people are quite underwhelmed with the content of the patch. And a comment that I see repeated over and over again is that why do we keep adding new Thargoid vessels when we're not adding any player vessels? Like, it's been like 2 years or something stupid. Okay, scratch that. Make that 4.5 years since we last time saw a new ship introduced into Elite. And that's something that's beginning to bug people quite a lot, that they keep adding this Thargoid stuff. And from the polls that I've been running on my community page, it seems like that only like half of the people out there is really interested in Thargoid combat and Thargoid stuff at all. And so that other half of the community is, well, feeling quite left out and abandoned, since they're not really getting anything at all. So I really hope that Frontier has something big in store for us inside the Maelstrom or in an upcoming patch, because I think we need a big surprise to kind of turn the general community vibe and make it less negative and hopefully see a slightly brighter future. Okay, over in Spacebourne, there's some exciting stuff happening over there. So far... What's up, Bunny? Why are you so angry? I need to be angry. Okay, let's try that again. Over in Spacebourne, exciting stuff is happening. So far, the guy developing the game, he has been launching weekly updates every Friday, but he's announced that he's going to not do that for a bit because he's working on what he's calling Update 2.0. This is going to apparently be some massive feature update to the game, and because he needs a bit more time to make sure that is thoroughly tested and all that stuff, instead of doing the weekly updates, it's going to be, I don't think he actually mentioned how long, but there's going to be a little bit longer time between updates this time until at least 2.0 comes out. And then more stuff will begin to be added into the game again. So definitely some very exciting times ahead in Spacebourne. Now, that leads me on to the live stream tomorrow. Usual time on YouTube and Twitch at 7 o'clock in-game time, GMT. Obviously, I'll be going into Elite and we'll be playing with the Maelstrom and the new equipment there. Might go and take a look at the new Hunter if we can find one. It should be easy enough to find these surface settlement things. I want to try to shoot them with some plasma weapons, see how they react to that. But overall, I just want to go in and have some fun with that and play around with new things. His main focus is definitely going to be on the Maelstrom, as I really want to go and see what's inside that. So come by the live stream tomorrow. It is at 7 o'clock and on YouTube and Twitch as always. Hope I'll see a lot of you guys there. Thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys in space.